Hello, friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of What's Going On, where we check in and find out what's going on here at SWAGHer Magazine. I am your host, Jen Cares, and I am so excited as today we welcome CaDori of CaDori Brand, and we're going to get right into it. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, trying to stay cool in all this heat in Houston.
Trying to stay cool and all this heat because this
Yes.
heat is not playing with us, okay?
Yes.
Someone said, I am here. Huh. And we're going to embrace it. We're going to take it, right?
Yes.
We can't do nothing else.
Nope.
But we're going to get right on into it. Friends, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to give some cheer, be sure to drop it down below. CaDori, tell us about yourself. Who is CaDori? What makes CaDori CaDori?
CaDori, I am an entrepreneur. Well, first of all, I'm a registered nurse by profession. I've been a nurse for
Mhm.
over 25 years. I primarily do emergency room and critical care.
Okay.
Aside from that, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author of self-help type books. I'm also a philanthropist. I give back a lot, and I do a lot of speaking engagements. So that's who I am.
I like it. I like it. So you have an amazing business. What is the CaDori brand?
CaDori brand is a combination of my philanthropy as well as my authorship, and just I have a whole apparel line, I Love Me, which promotes self-love, self-care. So most of my brand is just revolving around uplifting and encouraging people, but primarily teaching people how to love themselves more and take care of themselves.
How to love ourselves more. Why do you think that's such a struggle for so many of us?
I think it's a struggle because most of us are not raised to put ourselves first. We're not raised to take care of our mental health, our health, period, but especially mental health is always left out. So, me being a nurse all these years and just seeing certain things happen with people's health that could have been avoided or just things they didn't know kind of pushed me along one of my purposes, which was to help people, help them to love themselves and to take care of themselves better.
Mm. And it's a day by day process, friends. Be kind to yourselves. Sometimes we hit out the park, sometimes we don't, but keep on loving yourself.
Mhm.
We can love ourselves better than others because we know what we want if we're honest with ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Because, when you don't love yourself, you kind of put it in somebody else's hands. And a lot
Mm.
of times you'll miss something, you know what I'm saying? Like red
Mm.
flags and stuff. So, the
Yes.
more you pour into yourself and fill up your cup and take care of yourself, you are more in tune with your inner voice. So when people come into your life, it could be a romantic partner or quote unquote friend, you're
Yes.
more in tune with that inner voice and you can tell when things are wrong, and then you don't allow yourself to stay in certain situations for very long because that's part of self-care.
Mhm.
Who's involved in your life every day, who's in your circle, who's in your ear. That's
Mm.
all a part of self-care.
All a part of self care because it matters who you're around
Yes.
and who's around you. So,
Yes.
you have the event coming up. Tell us about your upcoming event.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to do a book tour. Right now, I'm going to do 15 cities between now and the end of the year. And I'm starting off the book tour in Houston, Texas. I live right outside of Houston in Katy, Texas. So I'm starting that out on July 6th. And what I'm doing when I go on the book tour, I'm meeting and greeting people. We're talking a little bit about self love, self care, because that's the title of it, self love, self care. Meet and greet the author book tour. We're going to have a nice dinner or brunch, and we are going to have wine, and we're going to do networking as well. So it's going to be a combination of things that are going to take place. And everyone that purchases a ticket leaves with a nice large gift bag filled with an autographed book as well as other goodies.
And we like gift bags. And get a book and some other goodies. That sounds like a good deal.
Yes, it's a great deal.
You said self love, self care.
Yes, self love, best love is the title, but we're talking about self love and taking care of ourselves is what we're talking about, which is
Gotcha.
what is in my book actually. It's a book about some things in my life, but it really points back to loving yourself and taking care of yourself better.
Mm, mm. Now, We talked about that loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I guess is a form of love for ourselves, huh? And what does that
It
look like?
is. What it looks like is being accountable to yourself first. You know what I mean? Like, it's putting your life in your hands rather than putting it in someone else's hands. What I mean by that is that when we're in relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or whether it's a friendship, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times when we don't know how to take care of ourselves or we're not taking care of ourselves, we will put a lot of the things that we need to be doing in somebody else's hand. Then we'll get upset with them when they don't show up for us like we should be showing up for ourselves.
Mm. I got the T-shirt and the keychain from that one. Okay,
Yes, yes.
it's a pattern.
Just on a daily basis, I would say it's like getting your proper rest. You know what I mean? So let's just say you work a lot of hours and then you get off work and you start doing a lot of other stuff and you only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep at night. Well, you can't keep doing that over too long of a time because guess what? You're going to be deprived. Your body can only run off so much when you don't get your proper sleep, because when you're getting your proper sleep, your cells rejuvenate and you have more energy to do other things. So getting the proper amount of rest every day, that's a form of self-care. Drinking the proper amount of water every day, that's a form of self-care. Talking positive, being kind to yourself, telling yourself positive things about yourself just on a daily basis, those are some basic self-care things.
So true, so true. And friends, we need to
Mhm.
engage in more self-care because that is self-love, best love, self-care. We need
Yes.
that to help us to continue to
Yes.
go on in this thing called life. Uh,
Yes.
Now, when you say self-love, when you say self-care, when you say best love, is that just for the ladies?
It's not just for the ladies. I know that we gear a lot of self-talk and self-love to the ladies, but there are, the men are people too. You know what I'm saying? If we
Mhm.
raise boys and men, we want them to take care of themselves, because taking care
Yes,
of themselves mean that, when they come into relationships with a woman, if they know how to take care of themselves, keep their body clean, be aware of, their health, stay in shape, because
yes,
if you're going into a relationship or a marriage and you're with someone not taking care of themselves, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be a burden on you. One
yes,
example is, let's say somebody has high blood pressure, okay?
yes.
If you're
Mhm.
married to them or dating them and they don't regularly eat properly, exercise, do what they're supposed to do, you're in that relationship, you love that person, they're going to fall on you as somewhat of a burden rather than a mate. Because
Mhm.
now, guess what? When they get sick, you got to carry more of the load. You got to visit them in the hospital. You got to nurture them back. So everybody needs to know what self love and self care looks like, because it is a burden if you have to carry the bulk of that for somebody else. It's enough to
Yes.
do it for yourself every day, right? So so if somebody else is not doing their part to take care of themselves, it's gonna fall on you if you're in a relationship, whether that's romantic or friends. So it's not just for women, it's for men as well.
I like it. I was just talking to somebody. We were talking about the importance of communication, and
Mhm.
sometimes we're not feeling love. Sometimes we're not feeling our best. Sometimes we're not feeling cared for, and we have to be able to speak up to say what's going on, how we feel. And it's when
Right,
we have that moment of looking in the mirror, finding out what is it that Jennifer wants, what is it that CaDori wants, that we can then say, okay, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I would like.
right.
What can you do to help me out? And what can I do to also help me out? Because we can't always get that from other people, right?
Right. Right. And so when we're talking about self love, best love, and we're talking about men and women, we're all human. So
Hmm.
what I like to do is just tell people, just okay, look at yourself as a single individual. What kind of things do you like and you enjoy? That's something
Hmm.
that you have to know yourself. If you're in a
Yeah.
relationship and you're looking for someone to provide things for you and they don't know what to provide and you're not really adequately communicating with them, you're going to have issues, because they
Issue.
can't read your mind just like you can't read their mind.
Come
So
on.
communication is part of that when you're in a
Mhm.
relationship. First, the communication with yourself by being honest with yourself about things about yourself, then communicating that to your partner or your friend, because
Mhm.
nobody can read anybody's mind. And then you have all these people, these mixed signals going, somebody's guessing when you can just communicate, and vice versa. Communication is huge when you're talking about relationships, so yeah.
Man, if I told you it's a five-letter word, there are so many five-letter words. That guessing game, somebody gonna get tired of it. I like that. Nope, nobody got
Right.
time for guessing. We have to be upfront. And that's hard sometimes, so huh?
It's very hard because you don't want to feel like you're being mean to people or you're kind of imposing on people.
Yeah,
But when you don't communicate, it's going to come across anyway.
it's
because
going
because
in.
what's not said, it will be shown through your actions, right?
Yeah,
Because we can't always look at words, we look at actions. So if you don't learn to effectively communicate and vice versa in those relationships, it's going to come out either way. And then now you're having disagreements. Rather than talking about the issue, you're disagreeing
yeah,
about small things
yeah.
that is just a projection from
Mm,
you not communicating what's really going on. So it all kind of ties together when you think about loving yourself and taking care of yourself and who you invite into your life. If you're inviting people into your life that don't take care of themselves, that don't value themselves, then eventually those things erode over into the relationship that you have with them because
yeah.
you're either going to uplift them or bring them down and vice versa. So if people are not taking care of themselves, it will eventually come over into your lane.
I think I need to send a couple people to your sofa so they could process these things because this is really
Yes.
real. We don't even realize like something's off from change. I don't know why because our boundaries get a little lax too in that of like, well, that's
Mhm.
okay. It could work out this way. And it's like, no, but I don't like it this way. But it's that communication of saying, being able to speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that. And it's an ongoing process. It's not anybody out here that has it all together. You know what I'm saying? Even me, coaching people and talking to people, I have to be true to myself and I have to also do work on myself. I have to check in with a therapist a few times a year, because we've all had something that happened in our lives from
Hmm.
childhood trauma to tragedies or other things that have happened along the way. And when we don't get the proper help we need, mental health or therapy, then that comes out. We act that out some kind of way. So a few times a year, when times are coming up and anniversary dates of people we've lost and stuff, I check in
Hmm.
with the mental health therapist as well so that
Hmm.
I don't go into depression. Like I said, we're all human,
Yeah.
so we all have to be responsible and accountable for ourselves in a healthy way, because if we don't handle it that way, guess what happens? We start turning to drugs, we start turning to alcohol, we start turning to sex,
Yeah.
and all the things that could be detrimental to us because we're not doing our best to take care of ourselves. So we have to be honest with ourselves first, be honest and be accountable to ourselves, because everything starts with us and then it goes out into the relationships.
Baby, when you said that grief thing, because that thing can sneak up on you, and you think that you have dealt with it, and in times
Mhm.
you have dealt with it, but that thing comes back around and it can hurt you, and you do resort to those different things. So that's really good. Thank you for sharing that because
Yeah,
it's real.
absolutely. Well, there's actually a book out that's called The Body Keeps Score. And what that book is really talking about, that at certain times during the year, whether you are mentally aware of it or not, your body remembers. You know what I'm saying? It could be fall, it could be spring.
Mhm.
Your body remembers the trauma, the pain that happened at that time. And
Yes.
so when you're leading up to those dates that,
Mhm.
things happen in your life, you do have to be aware and be prepared going
Yes.
up to it and
Yeah.
saying, you know what, I'm going to set up some time to talk to my therapist so we can come up with a game plan of some things I can do. It may be, they may tell you, okay, around this time, maybe you want to take a self-care day off work. Don't go to work because you don't want to be at work crying or,
Mhm.
projecting on somebody else. Or they may say, hey, during this time span, maybe you could take a weekend vacation somewhere and have things planned out to do so you're not just really sad the whole while. It's okay to
Yeah.
remember and cry a little bit, but you don't want to stay in that space, because
Mm.
what happens is when you stay in those spaces and it goes a day and then it goes 2 days, now you slipped into depression. So you want to try to be honest with yourself and know when those dates are coming. It's kind of like triggers, and
Mhm.
go ahead and have things lined up and be prepared to get therapy or whatever you may need to do to
Mhm.
deal with it.
Yes, that's good. I put dates on my calendar to try to like help me remember just in case I forget. But it definitely can
Right,
sneak up on you. You'll feel like, I'm like, what's going on? Then I look at the calendar,
right,
got it. It's coming up.
yeah,
And then I start doing the things that I need to do to prepare myself from the
right,
whatever loss of the loved one, the person, place, the thing to really help me to
right.
be able to get through that season because It could be a regular day, a song comes on and it could trigger you and things of that sort. But then also
Exactly,
the
a
season.
song.
Hmm.
Yes, song season. You can drive by a place that was familiar with you and that
Yeah,
person, or
yeah.
a movie come on. It's
Hmm.
so many things can trigger things. That's why you have to, be mindful, of it.
Yes, yes. So, your book. What is your book about?
Okay, so this particular book here, this is it. I don't know if
Yes,
they can see it. It's
I
on
did.
Amazon. It's an Amazon
Yes.
bestseller. It's titled Ladies Love Yourselves First, That's Happiness. And this book is for men and women. Like I said, self love, best love is for everybody. But
Yes.
basically, this book, I wrote this book after I went through a painful divorce. I was married for 24 years and went through a very painful divorce to what is a narcissist. I didn't know it at the time, but afterwards, going through therapy and just kind of looking over my life with the person and a textbook narcissist. So after I went through and got some therapy, I've always been a writer since high school.
Mhm.
I did write my first best-selling book, and it just talks a little bit about things that I went through in my life. My first marriage, a time when I wasn't a nurse and didn't have money, and resorted to things that were illegal to make money, to just different things, all the way back to my childhood and some of the childhood traumas that I experienced, and how, God led me through it all, of course, but how I also had to, at that time when I was going through that very painful divorce and getting therapy, I had to sit down and kind of go back over my life and figure out what direction I want to go. Because what people don't understand is that when you go through any type of trauma, and ending, going through a divorce is a death. It's a death of a marriage. It triggers all the same, things just like a real death. You go through denial, you go through, guilt, you go through blaming, you go through all these different stages of grief. And, sometimes you feel like you can't go on, or you feel like, you want to give up, or you feel like you're not valuable because you feel unwanted. So I just sat down and put pen to paper and, decided I want to publish my first book, and that I want to help somebody in this. So I want to be truthful. I want to put my my stories down, my successes, my failures, and in hopes to help somebody. So I ended up in 2020 pandemic, the end of 2020, wrote my book. It was Amazon bestseller. And then 6 months later, I did a workbook journal where you can go and journal, and it's kind of like a therapy book. You ask, I put the questions in there like what I got asked in therapy, and people can go through and write out your thoughts because you're getting it out of your system. You know what I mean? You can either talk it out, write it out, do a combination of things, but it's like a therapy journal book that people can use to really help them get through a whole lot of things in their life so that you can be free of that and you can walk into your purpose.
I love it. It's nothing like a book that gets into your business and helps you through this thing called life, but a
Right,
journal that really helps you to like, wait,
right.
really face it and deal with it and write it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, journals are great. I
Yeah,
still journal to this day. People don't
yeah,
understand how important journaling is, and just writing out those thoughts and getting this
yeah.
stuff out of your system, to release it, and be able to move forward. Journaling is very important. It's very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what was the motivation for this book?
The motivation was just, I think if I had to pick one thing that was motivating, it was really just stepping into my own, being my own person outside of a marriage,
Yeah,
because when you're married, a lot of us, when we're married, a lot of our identity is tied into that person that we're with. Well,
mhm,
now I'm going through a divorce and I'm stripped of that. It's just me.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I think one of the big parts of me really wanting to write it and really holding myself accountable to go through and complete the book was, this is me, this is mine. This is me talking about myself in
yeah,
hopes to help somebody, but this is me.
yeah.
So it was really very cathartic going through and writing it down and really just going through and taking care of myself and allowing myself to cry, allowing myself to release, allowing myself to be made into something better than I ever have been before, and
Mhm.
just to embrace and love myself. So it's really a whole process, kind of like, going from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it was really great, and I encourage anybody that's out there that wants to write anything about their life or anything down to do that, because going through that you will find healing in that itself, and then it
Mhm.
just makes you feel, like you're really living your purpose and you're being yourself, because there's only one you on the planet. So
Mhm.
when you do stuff like publish your book, or things that's just you, that you're doing yourself, it really leaves you feeling really great at the end of it.
Yeah. That's so good. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that in a nutshell is it. When people join you on this tour, what is it that you hope that they gain?
I hope that during this tour, this book tour, that people will come and that they will leave better than they came. And what I mean by that is they will leave with some knowledge, some more information, some more resources, just a better understanding of themselves. Just being excited about really getting to know yourself better and really pour more into yourself and love yourself. So just coming out of it like a new, embracing a new form of you moving forward. That's my hope with the book tour, that they will leave better than they came, have a great experience, and just, yeah, just spread the word.
I like it. Can I go back to the marriage for a second, because the 24 years,
Yes,
like you said, to then what you've been doing for 24 years, it doesn't happen overnight to just not, be with that situation anymore. And whether it be marriage, whether it be a friendship, whether it be the boyfriend girlfriend situation, that breakup can really take you on this roller coaster. So like that journal that you have sounds like it helps you to really process through the thoughts and feelings that you have, the
yes,
guilt that you have of what did I do, what could have I done better. And sometimes if it wasn't you, it could have been another person. Really identifying whatever it is that helps you to pick up your pieces
right.
to keep on going.
Yeah, so going, and you know what, when I talk to people, I was married for 24 years, but you have people that's been married 5 years. The
Mhm.
years, are significant, but it's also what was that relationship?
Yeah,
Because some people could have had a 5-year relationship that was just a roller coaster every day almost.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't all bad, but I will say that for in my situation, I was the one that was always giving the most,
Mm,
always forgiving and giving the most. And the other
mhm,
person was kind of like selling on through.
mm,
And it's because what I learned after the marriage is that I didn't hold that person accountable. I
mhm,
didn't make sure that when things weren't adding up, that they had to change, or I'm going to make an exit out. Because what happens is, we, the other person, whether you're kind or giving or just nice, we are allowing people to do certain things to us,
mhm.
because we have choice as well. We don't
Yeah,
know at the time
yeah.
that it may be this deep or this significant, because everybody that doesn't do everything right in a marriage doesn't end up in a divorce or doesn't end up being a narcissist. It's
Mhm,
different
mhm.
things. But in my case, when I look back over the years and I
Yeah,
saw the patterns and I saw the things, I did have an inner voice. And there was times where I was like, in fact, I left twice. During the course of that marriage, I left him twice, and I allowed him to cry and, throw himself on the ground and do all these things to get me back. I want my family back, come back. And
mhm,
I did allow that because I accepted it. But later on, when it ended up being a divorce, I was mad at myself that I didn't listen and I didn't
mhm,
stick to what I knew way back then was something that wasn't making me happy, and it wasn't conducive to a happy marriage or happy family. So
mhm,
it was heartbreaking, as well as just everything. I went through every emotion you could imagine. I could not imagine getting through it. And that's why I
mhm,
went to my therapist and was sitting on that couch crying and all these things. And, I just ended up listening to her after, several months into a year. And she just basically told me, listen, you don't have a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what people are going to do because you're not with people 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So, with that being said, you as a loving spouse are supposed to believe somebody when they tell you, I'm sorry, I'm changing, I'm turning over a new leaf. You did nothing wrong to believe in them. They
Mm-hmm.
were the ones that were behind the scene doing all this, that, and other that wasn't honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't beat yourself up, is what she said. Treat yourself kind. Do
Yes.
for yourself what you've done for others.
Yeah.
Buy yourself gifts. Take yourself on dates. Take yourself on trips. And I'm just crying, like, well, I don't know how to do that. I've never done it. Well, you got to start. So I
Yes.
slowly started taking myself on dates, buying myself nice things that I would buy other
Yes.
people, pouring into my cup, filling my cup up. And over a year or so, I started feeling better.
Yes.
And once I started pouring into myself, that's what eventually, a couple years later, gave me the fortitude to sit down and write a book to help other people.
Mhm.
But I just had to listen to my therapist and just start practicing what she was telling me to do. And I did that, and it helped me. It turned my life around.
Yes. So, Kadori, I want to say thank you for letting me, circle back to that because we'd be surprised how many people are in some situations where they feel like, how do I get out?
Right,
Should I get out? If they apologize, maybe I should stay. The female or the male, both sides, right?
right,
Um,
right,
but having that strength to finally say, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to speak up
right.
for myself. I'm going to get what I need. I'm going to go to that therapist and get into the rough of it to really pick apart what's going on. I like how Love here said, discovering what part you played in the situation helps you become better for a new relationship with others and yourself. So, so,
Yes.
so good. And it's so, thank, thank you for sharing this because you're helping so many people that will listen today, listen tomorrow, be able to help somebody else that's in a very similar situation.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's what it's about. When we talk about testimonies, there's no testimony without a test.
Come
So
on.
eventually I got around to it. I said, you know what? It wasn't just to hurt me and break me down and take me through all this sadness. This is actually to help other people as well because
Yes.
I meet so many people all the time, me being a nurse and me traveling as much as I do. And I can't tell you how
Mhm.
many people I've met since I've been divorced that I've been able to share just a part of my story and help encourage them and uplift them. Absolutely.
And to those that's listening, I know you heard this time and time again. You went through it to be able to help somebody else, and you're like, find somebody else next time, right? But when you
Right.
go through it and you speak up for it, everybody doesn't speak up for it. So when you go through
Right.
it and you speak up for it, that's the testimony. That's the amazingness of being able to help somebody else get out of this place where they feel stuck and they feel like, well, nobody else is going to love me. Nobody else is going to care. What if nobody else takes me? I have kids. I don't have kids. I have this. I have that. Whatever it is, you know, because of Kadori being able to cry out and spare not to share, you too can break through. You too can get away if it is time for you to get away. Again, speaking to a therapist, evaluating what it is that you want to do. Again, very good. Timely, timely testimony to share. I know,
Yeah.
what's it, cupping season has left. And this is hot season, but some people still want to get hot and sticky. But we want to also make sure that what we're going through is what's good for ourselves and that we feel
Right.
good about it at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. And then I also want to say to people too, before we close out, is that, when you come out of a relationship, especially these long-term relationships, you really do need that time for yourself. This is
Mhm,
not the time, I know everybody said, oh, the best way to get over somebody is get somebody else. No, it's not. Because guess what? When you don't take time to love yourself, learn
mhm,
yourself, just get real with yourself and you go into something else, a lot of times you'll find that same person
mhm,
that you just left in the next
mhm,
person because you
mhm,
didn't take the time to heal and be honest with yourself. You just want somebody to be affectionate towards you, somebody to pour into you. But that's the worst thing you can do,
mhm.
especially leaving out of these long term relationships,
Yeah.
because most times you will attract that same person you just left in the other person or aspects of that person.
They say if you didn't learn the lesson, it's coming back around
Yes, and it's going to be harder every time.
every time. Every time. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So in the comments we have where Memphis is in the building. I don't know what other cities are in the building, but where will the tour be taking you?
Okay, I don't have Memphis on the list yet. So I do have my hometown is Birmingham, Alabama. I'm gonna have that on the list. Of course, we're
Okay.
starting in Houston. I have LA, I have Las Vegas, I
Hmm.
have Dallas,
Yes.
Orlando, Montgomery, Alabama, Huntsville,
Mhm.
Alabama, Charlotte, North Carolina, New York, and Chicago. I think that's all of them for now. But
Mhm.
as I tour more and get people, asking me stuff, and I see
Yes.
that there's an interest, I'm open to that. So, I'm not going to just exclude a city. If there's interest there, I'm happy to go there.
Yes, yes. Yolanda said this is going to be an awesome tour. I want to, second that emotion. I say get
Yes.
your arms ready because, again, as you share this, you'll be surprised how many come up to you. So, like, thank you so much for sharing this. Can I have a hug? Thank you for helping me
Yes.
because I'm trying to process these things. I'm not understanding the math is not mathing, and I thought I was doing right, but I was settling.
Yes.
I didn't have to settle, or I was in a situation that I didn't need to be in. So, again, thank you for telling your story. Thank you for stepping out to write this book. Thank you for stepping out to write this journal that's going to change so many lives of men and women. And I know, it says that, we do go to the women a little bit more, but guys go through the same thing. So this is for
Exactly.
our brothers, our sisters, everybody. Self care is so, so, so important. We want to have that self love, best love.
Yes, Yolanda is also in Birmingham, Alabama, and we're almost sold out there.
Uh-oh.
And we don't go there till September. But because that's my hometown, we know a lot of people. They've already said that they would come, so we're almost sold out in
Yes.
Birmingham.
And now, I mean, that just says love. Sold out. I say I will be attending. I live in Birmingham. Yes, ladies, make plans to attend the Self Love Best Love tour when it comes to your city. And fellas, again, brothers,
Yes,
please
yes,
come. Please,
yes. Please
please
come.
come, because
Please come.
we all got to heal. We all have to talk about some things. We all sometimes have to sit on that sofa of, is it me?
Yes,
Is it them? Who is it? Okay.
right. Exactly,
Uh,
exactly. And
this
you're
is
in
such a,
Philadelphia, Jennifer?
I
Jennifer?
am.
Okay, well, we need to be looking at coming up there.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta figure this out. Why? Because, and I know some people that are doing some different events of trying to promote things right in the same lane. So I'm gonna try to connect you with someone to
Please.
see how they can work it out.
Please do that. Absolutely.
Yes,
I would love that.
yes. I love this conversation too. Please share it. I promise it's going to help somebody because, again, we have no clue what people are dealing with. So many times people show up and they're smiling. So many times people come and they're giving 1,000. It's like, how you got all this energy? Because we don't know the hell or the struggle that they're going through when they go back home. So please,
Right.
please, please be of encouragement to somebody else because it's self love, best love. Though the tour may not be at your city yet, it can start with you having that self
Yes.
love and best love for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. During my philanthropy, also, I help a lot of domestic violence victims
Yes.
escape some situation and
Mhm.
get temporary housing and safety for their children. So that's one of the things I do with philanthropy as well.
I love it. I love it. And that's so needed too because you hear so many stories of people trying to get out, trying to get safety. And I always think of Tina Turner when she was trying to like get away and
Yes,
somebody's
yes.
telling. There's always somebody that's trying to sabotage. But there are some people who can help you get away. They can help you be safe if you just cry out and say, hey, I need some support. Somebody is there.
Somebody can help, or if they can't help you, they can connect you with somebody that can help you.
That
Yeah,
part.
so it's
You are
very
not a
important. Yes, it's very important to reach out, ask for help, and keep yourself safe. Keep you and your children safe. Get to safety. Safety is number one because
yes,
you want to be alive so you can live another day to live your purpose and be there for your children.
yes,
Always pick yourself and your safety over any of these relationships.
yes,
Please.
yes. And I'm gonna venture out and say, even if it's not somebody else that's significant other, maybe you're just overwhelmed with the cares of life, and life has been life. And I do
Yes.
encourage you to reach out to somebody. You do not have to be in a situation alone. Please, please, please reach out to somebody. Life does get overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes it is for the birds. Sometimes I want to say find somebody else. But when we get this best love, self love, and when we get encouraged and motivated, when we have those around us that's going to encourage us, when we go to this tour to find out what CaDori got on to help us, okay?
Mhm.
This is how we
Yes,
stay motivated so that we don't give up on ourselves.
Exactly, exactly. So for the people who can't make it to the tour, just want to get the book before the tour, you can go to Amazon.com and type in
Yes.
either CaDori or Ladies Love Yourselves First as Happiness, and you can get the book and you can get the workbook too if you just want to do like a therapy and journal as well in there. That's very helpful. I know sometimes people don't have insurance, so they may not be able to afford the therapy sessions, but this is a workbook, a therapy workbook. So I think it's like $10 or $12. So you can
Mhm.
get that and you have that. You can use it as often as you need to, read through it, all that. So it's very, both of these are inspirational tools. The book is very inspirational. You see the challenges I went through in my life and how I came out of it. You can do it too. And you can also get the workbook journal. So they're both very inspirational pieces to design and written to help others.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. What is
You're
something that
welcome.
you want us to walk away with?
Let's see. There's so many things I could say. We'd be here all night, girl. But one thing I would say, one thing I would like to say to people is that there's only one you. So never compare yourself to anyone. Never try to be anyone. It doesn't matter how bad things may be going in your life, you still have value and you have worth. So you may not feel like it now, but you do. You have value and you have worth, and you will come out. Whatever you're in now, pray about it, do your best, and surround yourself with somebody who can help uplift you. Or get online and follow some inspirational accounts that you
Mhm.
can read and pour into yourself every day. There's so many sources, but whatever you do not give up.
Mm.
Do not give up.
Whatever you do, do not give up. Friends that are tuned in, I challenge you to write in the comments. I still have value. I still have worth. Why? Because there is power in our words. So write down
Yes.
below. I still have value. I still have worth. No matter what you've been
Yes.
through, you still have value. You still have worth. Last time I checked, broken crayons still work.
They sure do. I actually have a shirt that says that I had on the other day. A broken crayon still colors. Yep.
Still color. So I
Still
still
does.
have
Yes.
value. I still have worth. Yes, thank you,
Yes.
Londa. I still have value. I still have worth. And we have to remind ourselves. Because again, we could be our worst critics sometimes.
Yes.
I
Yes,
still
we
have
have to. It starts with what we say to ourselves because when we're talking, we're actually listening to ourselves talk. So when you tell yourself, I'm
value.
beautiful, I'm all that,
Yes,
I got this.
yes,
I can become what I want to become. I
yes,
can do this. Because I know a lot of times we've been told by other people negative things about ourselves, but we can't keep recycling that. We got to replace that with writing down, I am
yes,
worthy. God
yes,
loves me. I
yes,
got this. I can do better.
yes,
I can, because you can.
yes.
And the more you say those positive things to yourself, and the more you keep getting up every day and doing your best, it
Mm-hmm.
will happen. It will
Yes.
happen. You just have to keep believing and keep doing. And one day you'll wake up and your situation is totally different. And now you can use your story to inspire somebody else.
I love it. Friends, we got more than two people watching. I need one more person to write in the comments. I still have value. I still have worth. Because I get that you might be battling, wondering, like, do I really? Friend, you do.
Yeah.
You still have value.
Yes, you still have value, you still have worth. And you have to believe that. You have to keep saying it until you believe it.
Yes.
You have to keep saying it until you believe it. And I talk a little bit about in the book as well. One other thing that I think people enjoy in the book is I have a chapter that's called There's No Perfect People. And in that chapter it talks about a pastor, and it breaks down that pastor and how he has, sinned and did all sorts of things in the church. But we hold all our pastors and preachers on a pedestal, basically. But I did that chapter to show people to look at this person's life. And this is somebody who has a high position in the community, valued and looked at highly. But look at all the things that they did in that chapter. And so when we start looking at people and we look at people as people, We're all people. There's no big I, little you. We're all people. And I did that chapter to tell people that there are no perfect people. So get it out of your mind that somebody has this perfect life and they're doing all this stuff and they don't make mistakes and they're just great. No, everybody's got something. We all have something that we have to work through, that we have to pray ourselves through, that we have to turn to God, turn over to God, all those things, because we're all humans. So don't ever make yourself feel little by thinking that somebody else has got it all together, because they don't. There are no perfect people. And that's why I titled that chapter that title, so that you know there's no perfect people.
There is no perfect people. We have a friend that's asking, what's the name of your book again?
This book is titled, it's on Amazon, it's titled Ladies Love Yourselves First, That's Happiness. It's just really, it's for men and women, but it's really speaking to women because, you know, a lot of times we're the ones that want to be married and throw ourselves at men and just want to be in a relationship so bad that we don't understand that the love we're seeking, we need to be giving it to ourselves, because
Mhm.
that's how we end up in the wrong relationship, because we didn't love ourselves and we didn't know what that felt like. So we thought somebody else loved us and they took and they
Mhm.
used and abused that love. But when you truly love yourself and you truly pour into yourself, you will listen to those red flags, you will listen to that inner voice, and you will not allow certain things to happen in your life.
Yeah,
So that's why I try to push the self love, because once you do that, you won't allow certain things to come into your life and hurt you like that, you know?
I love it. This
Mhm.
was so good. Friends, don't forget, you still have value. You still have worth. Don't you
Yes,
forget it. If
yes,
nobody told you today, I'm telling you, and I encourage you to tell yourself, as Kadori
yes,
has shared with us on today, you still
yes,
have value. You still have worth.
yes. So you can go to Amazon.com and get the book. You can also go to my website, CaDori.net. And if you want an
Yes,
autographed copy, you go to CaDori.net. And when you order it, it sends us a flag that we have someone for autographed copy, and I autograph it to you and ship it out.
yes. And if you
But
go
if
on a
you
tour, you get an autographed copy.
Oh yeah, everybody on the tour that purchases a book, the autograph book comes in that nice big gift bag that we're giving to everybody. So you
What's
get
what's
one
one
on
of
the
the
tour.
what's one of the treats that's in the bag? Just one of them.
Okay, one of the treats that's in the bag is, you know how I'll give you two. One of the treats that's in the bag, you know how we have our keychains. So
Mhm.
those little pom poms that's on the key ring, we are giving away different colorful pom poms to put on your keychain. It's just some cute to have
Yeah.
for your keychain. And then another thing that we're giving away one of the Bath and Body products.
Mhm.
It may be lotion, it may be sanitizer, it may be Bath and Body body wash. But
Yeah.
each bag will have something from Bath and Body Works, because they're one of the sponsors, Bath and Body
Yeah.
Works.
Come through
Yeah.
sponsors. And I like the pom pom because what you always got some share in your pocket on that
Yes.
key,
Well, that's
okay?
how you give it so you can cheer yourself on every day with that pom pom.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Oh, this was
Yes.
so, so good. I thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was really, really amazing. I hope that you all that tuned in were encouraged. Be sure to like, share, comment. Uh, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, so that you
Yes.
always know when we're going live because we are always going to be true to share what's going on here at SWAGHer Magazine. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us again, Dory.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you.
I
Thank you, everyone,
appreciate
for listening.
you. Yes. Y'all have a good night now. Until next
Thank
time.
you. Bye bye.